It was an evening filled with laughter.
And Ricky was out there all by himself in left field. He said, T, I was out there in left field. I felt like the lost Mohican. And Tony said, you mean the last Mohican? And they started to laugh and laugh and laugh.
And tears from family, friends, and fans.
You guys are why my dad loves San Diego so much.
A night that was all about Tony Gwynn and just how much Mr. Padre meant to San Diego. Tony Gwynn was a San Diegan through and through, refusing to leave the Padres for more money and choosing to coach at San Diego State over other bigger offers.
He was a sports hero to San Diegans, and more than 23,000 of them turned out tonight to say thank you and goodbye. 10 News was the only station in town to carry live coverage of that memorial because we knew it was important to you. Our team coverage begins at Petco Park with 10 News reporter Dan Haggerty. And Dan, it was an emotional night.
It was way more emotional than I even thought it was going to be. More than 20,000 people filling this place to see the Tony Gwynn statue there, surrounded by balloons and flowers. And these people seriously felt like they knew Tony Gwynn, like they had a relationship with him. And tonight, together, had to accept that he was gone. From the very beginning, tears were falling from the stands at Petco Park.
He was just a wonderful man, a great person, a great ball player, an icon to San Diego. And we'll never forget him.
And to remember Tony Gwynn, the people who knew him best told stories about the things that made him the best, including his infectious laugh that announcer Ted Leitner played from his phone into the mic. Leitner followed with a story about a prank teammates played on Gwynn while they ate lunch after a game.
And takes the meat out of his bun, out of the burger. Takes the hamburger patty out of there and puts the bun on top of the bun. And Tony doesn't know. He keeps talking and he keeps laughing, and I'm watching him and I'm watching him, and the players are watching him and watching him, and he keeps eating and he keeps eating, and he finally realizes, what the? Hey! And then he realized what they had done to him, and he started to laugh and laugh and laugh. The greatest laugh of all time.
From one of the greatest baseball players of all time. But for every highlight they played on the big screen came a story about his character and drive.
Well, you have to say it that way because he didn't go for the limelight. You know, he was great at what he did, but he was a good person. He set a great example for everybody.
And with that, San Diego said goodbye to number 19, lighting it up in the ballpark and bidding farewell the best way they know how.
Can I get that chant that you always did in Jack Murphy and Qualcomm of Tony, Tony, Tony? Yeah, that one. Yeah.
People needed that. You know, they don't get to go to the funeral, they don't get to say goodbye. So this is a great way to feel like you've said goodbye and you're done and sent him off to heaven.
You know, I was talking to one fan off camera, and it was as people were leaving, and while he was talking to me, he started to cry, and he was right on the aisle. And as people were walking up the stairs, they started stopping and tapping him on the shoulder, shaking his hand. I said, "Do you know any of these people?" He said, "No, not a single one of them." That was the kind of atmosphere there was tonight. It was pretty special. At Petco, I'm Dan Haggerty, 10 News.
All right, Dan, touched so many lives. It was a who's who of sports legends. They flew in from around the country to share their memories of Tony tonight. Ben Higgins is here now with the best of their time with Mr. Padre. Ben.
So hard to pick. From coast to coast, they came to pay their respects and honor a San Diego icon, a baseball legend, and most of all, a good man.
There was never a time that I thought that we would have this particular ceremony here today.
With a tear in his eye, Padres radio voice Ted Leitner introduced the speakers. Big names like Reggie Jackson.
The only thing he ever did that I didn't like is every time he saw me, he always called me Mr. Jackson.
All had stories to tell. Some touched on baseball, but more spoke about Tony and his family.
And I love that picture of your daddy looking at you before you went down that aisle, because that was such his look.
When he talked about his children, he just lit up like the sun. And it was something that I envied, partly because I never had a dad. and he would have been a great dad to have.
San Diego State was represented too by baseball coach Mark Martinez, who led a fight song chant for Tony. In the end, Tony's daughter Anisha spoke directly to her dad's fans.
I would just like to take the time to thank each and every one of you for all of the support and all of the love. Thank you.
And grace will lead me home.
It was great to be able to hear so many great words spoken about the man versus the ball player.
Wow, Trevor Hoffman was the fitting closer for the ceremony. He must now fill some very large shoes as the greatest living Padre. Had a heck of an example to follow. I'm Ben Higgins, 10 News.